Hey, I'm Jim Search, and welcome to Understanding Upstate, the podcast dedicated to exploring what makes upstate New York such a unique place. Each week, my co-host Rob Adler and I dive into a new upstate topic to better understand what's up upstate. And this week, we are rolling the tape on the life and times of director John McTiernan.
Woo! Which, I
Yes.
feel like John McTiernan, if you're a film nerd, it's a name you know. But if you're not a film nerd, it's not like Spielberg or a Spike Lee. His name doesn't come up that much, but he, the guy reinvented action films and set off a lot of franchises.
And listen, if you are a kid of like the late 80s, early 90s, and you were a latchkey kid who watched a bunch of films you had no business watching, this is the man that put this together.
Yeah.
And I will say I owe a lot of the things I shouldn't have known at 11 and 12 to his steady eye and steady hand and steady heart behind a camera, for sure.
Sure. And, we'll get to it at the end, but I think we'll see you can take the director out of upstate New York, but you can't take the upstate New York out of the director.
Mm-hmm. No.
There's a pretty good twist at the end of this story.
Sure.
If you're not familiar. We'll get there.
Kind of like what I put together for the Dirty Dancing film review as far as what's upstate and what's not upstate.
Yeah.
Let's just say he was doing a lot of shit that I was like, oh, yeah. I know what this is. Yeah. I know what you're doing here, buddy.
Yeah.
Tracks. Mm-hmm. Totally tracks.
Well, should we spool up this reel of our breakdown of John McTiernan?
Well, we do have to tell some folks what to do as far as their subscribing, rating, and reviewing.
I'm trying to get to the main feature, but we didn't even do any of the previews. Come on, jeez.
I know, man.
Oh, brother.
We gotta let folks know about subscribing to this podcast, rating this, and reviewing our show. And share it with a friend and throw a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. And let us know your favorite director from upstate New York, specifically from upstate New York. And we'll talk about it. Actually, we'll talk about pretty much anything within the confines of upstate New York. As long as it's not fucking super weird. Like... Sure. You know what I mean? Like if we're going really far off the beaten path, folks, we may not dive into it. But if you stay within the lane and you stay within the guardrails, we'll fuck with it.
I like to encourage people. No one has pitched a topic that we didn't cover yet, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. Correct. Everything that has come across the desk of the Understanding Upstate offices has been reviewed and said, you know what? Stamp it. Let's go with it.
It's true.
Green light. You know what I mean? So, yeah, send them on in, folks. Understandingupstate@gmail.com is a good place to email us as well. Throw us some fan mail. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us how much you love the show.
Speaking of green lights, you should go on over to understandingupstate.printful.me and go grab some merch. Why not? We got some fantastic t-shirts up there. Go check them out. Wear them to the cinema.
Yeah.
What a perfect t-shirt to hit the Cineplex. Yeah,
exactly. Head on out to Upper Front Street to the movie theater out there. If you're really time traveling, go to the movie theater in the Oakdale Mall. You can do that there too.
Sure.
But make sure you rock that Understanding Upstate t-shirt.
There.
For sure.
You go. All right. Are we ready to get into Mr. McTiernan?
Yes. Rob, I'm ready to talk about my fellow upstater, John McTiernan. and his contributions to the world of film, and more. And more. John Campbell McTiernan Jr., born January 8th, 1951, is an American director, producer, and writer best known for his work in the action film genre. His films include the classic Predator, 1987, equally classic Christmas film Die Hard, 1988, The Hunt for Red October, 1999.
Oh, 1990. 1990.
Or 1990. Slept on classic, and it's gotten a lot of shit, but also one of my favorite movies of this genre. Last Action Hero, 1993. The Thomas Crown Affair, and The 13th Warrior, both
13th Warrior, a film that I think rightfully slept on. Not the best of his oeuvre. I'll say Hunt for Red October. That's the first Jack Ryan film. That's Tom Clancy. Famously, Harrison Ford would step into the role after Alec Baldwin. But that's 3 major franchises back to back that he kicked off.
And the very breaking the fourth wall Last Action Hero. Great concept of a movie, man. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, it got a lot of shit in the reviews, but I thought it was a fucking great idea.
I think it's aged well. I think 93 the audience wasn't super receptive, but I think people have come around back on it. Also not on that list.
Well, they better.
Die Hard with a Vengeance, the third entry. It was one of the best New York City films ever made. It's fantastic. Thomas Crown Affair. I saw them shoot some of the Thomas Crown Affair. I was walking by. I was visiting the city. And I walked by as they did a crane shot outside the Met. Pretty cool. I was right there.
You were part of history.
You were
part of history, man.
It's true.
Well, let's speaking of history, let's talk a little bit about McTiernan's history in his early life and education. McTiernan was born in Albany, New York, the son of Myra and John Campbell McTiernan Sr., a lawyer and actor. Split his time between 2 professions. He is of Irish and English ancestry. Surprise! Personal research revealed that his parental ancestors immigrated to America during the Great Famine, while on his mother's side, he is descended from Mayflower passengers. So, money. He attended the Juilliard School before graduating with a MFA from the AFI Conservatory in 1975. McTiernan is an alum of SUNY Old Westbury.
There you go.
Now, we've got a little bit about Dad.
Yeah, I tried to find anything that would relate to McTiernan's history in upstate New York, and there wasn't a whole lot. Again, we know he grew up there. He spent his entire early childhood there, or early life there, not just his childhood. Seems like his parents stayed in Albany the entire time. This is from his dad's obituary. Right. But this is some of the most information I could find.
We could pull here. Yeah. And here we are. So, John Campbell McTiernan passed away in the early hours of December 18th, 2008, after a brief illness. Born June 16th, his birthday's coming up, 1922 in Little Falls, New York, to Elizabeth Campbell McTiernan and attorney James Augustus McTiernan. He was graduated valedictorian of his class from St. Mary's Academy in 1940 and entered Syracuse University that fall. Let's go Orange. Yeah. After Pearl Harbor, he joined the Navy, being sent to RPI and Annapolis, and then to the South Pacific as an engineering officer of the destroyer Dorch, participating in the Philippines, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa campaigns, as well as the occupation of the Japanese home islands. He was returned home and retired by the Navy in late 1946 after an unknown tropical disease had claimed much of his eyesight. Ew. Yikes. On May 24th, 1947, he began what became a 61-year marriage to Myra Olds of Middleville, New York, completing Albany Law School in 1949. He began a long and successful career as a litigator for the state of New York, disguising near blindness with a photographic memory and a prodigious ability to absorb documents read to him by his secretary. Goddamn, like Daredevil.
Yeah.
He's just Daredevil.
Wow, yeah, good call.
He was ultimately named counsel of the Transportation Department in 1980. Working on his courtroom voice, he took singing lessons and happily discovered an entire world of music. He began singing with church and civic choirs, then community musical theaters, and finally spent many summers singing opera in professional theaters in Maine and Maryland. In retirement, he, in effect, went back to sea, cruising with Myra the length of the East Coast several times in a small boat. They spent most winters living abroad in Ireland, Spain, Italy, Greece, and ultimately Guam and Japan. Ooh, brought it back home.
Yeah, there you go.
What a full circle.
But yeah, he comes from, it seems like, some strong upstate roots.
Sure.
You know, seemed interesting at the very least.
Yeah, it is. It does paint it gives us a good bedrock for John McTiernan Jr.
Indeed.
Right. Well, speaking of John McTiernan Jr., he has a whole career. Rob, can you tell us about his beginnings career in the 80s?
Let's do it. So, in 1986, McTiernan wrote and directed his first feature film titled Nomads, which stars Pierce Brosnan, who was also in his first lead role in a film for this. It was not well received by critics, receiving 36% on the review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think Rotten Tomatoes was around in 1986, but still, I think it wasn't like...
That's neither here nor there.
Sure. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times rated it 1.5 stars out of 4 and said that even if viewers cared about the characters, the film is too confusing to understand. Variety wrote, Nomads avoids the more obvious ripped guts devices in favor of dramatic visual scares. In fact, everything seems to come naturally in a tale that even has a supernatural ring true. Walter Goodman of the New York Times called the film as menacing as the chorus from West Side Story. In his memoir, Total Recall, great name for Arnold Schwarzenegger's memoir, said he was so impressed by the film's tense atmosphere made with a low budget that he hired McTiernan to direct Predator. Which, yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think I haven't seen it yet. It's on my watch list, but I think it's, again, like 80s and 90s, like critics were real stinkers, man. They were,
yeah.
It's a period for mean critics for sure. I think Nomads I think it's a good time if you're into that kind of thing. The budget for Sci-Fi Predator was around $15 million. It opened at number 1 at the U.S. box office with a gross of $12 million on just its opening weekend. Went on to gross nearly $100 million overall. Initial critical reaction to Predator was negative, with criticism focusing on the thin plot.
What do you need?
Yeah.
You don't look, man. It's a fucking alien who's killing shit.
Yeah, but also like one of the
That's all you need.
best casts in an action film ever.
Couple governors in there, I believe.
Well, yeah. Let's see. The Elvis Mitchell of the New York Times described it as, quote, grisly and dull with few surprises. Come on, a man's arm gets lasered off.
Yo, man, fucking my man Carl Weathers is his fucking arm. Like this, I don't know where Elvis Mitchell is, but I'm gonna talk to him about this because this is bullshit. Don't disrespect one of the fucking classic action films.
Yeah, dude.
Get to the chopper. If he bleeds, we can kill it. Come on, man. Fuck out of here. Making me mad for no reason.
If Elvis Mitchell found it grisly and dull, I want to watch the movies he's watching because I find it scintillating and delightful.
I found it life-changing.
Yeah.
So, how about that, Elvis?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Dean Lamina wrote in Cinefestique that, quote, the militarized monster movie tires under its own derivative. Wait, what is it derivative of? I don't know. What are we talking about? Variety wrote that the film was a, quote, slightly above average actioner that tries to compensate for tissue-thin plot with ever more grisly death sequences and impressive special effects. In subsequent years, critics' attitudes toward the film warmed, and it has appeared on best of lists.
Where it belongs.
Mm-hmm. That film awarded McTiernan a chance to direct Die Hard, which was made on a $28 million budget. Went over to gross $140 million theatrically worldwide. It is considered one of the greatest action films. The film's success spawned a Die Hard franchise, which so far has included 4 sequels, video games, and a comic book. It received very high ratings from critics. English film critic Mark Kermode expressed admiration for the film, calling it an exciting setup of, quote, cowboys and Indians in the Towering Inferno, which is a reference to a movie that I think many people have seen at this point in time. The film has been included in various top 10 lists of best Christmas movies, including Empire, rating it number 1, Entertainment Weekly rating it number 4, and Forbes rating it number 1, etc. However, not every critic praised it. Roger Ebert gave it a mere 2 stars out of 4 and criticized the stupidity of the deputy police chief character, Dwayne T. Robinson, played by Paul Gleason, saying that, quote, all by himself, he successfully undermines the last half of the movie. I mean, again, I don't know. Pretty good movie, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
Nothing
wrong with
it.
Good film.
And Bruce Willis was not a proven action star at that point. He was a goofy comedy actor. Like, there are a lot of risks taken on that film.
And risk gets reward, folks.
Indeed. And you had I'm blanking on his name. The main bad guy, Hans Gruber. He, the actor, was only a theater actor. Like, that might be his first film role, and that, it's a pretty, Alan Rickman. There we go. What we got there? Yeah, a lot of unproven actors in there, at least in action film sense, pulled it together under McTiernan, of course. We got the 90s. Well, 1990 to 1995. What do we got for old John McTiernan there, Jim?
All right. Well, The Hunt for Red October also received positive reviews from critics. Nick Shager from Slant Magazine called the film, quote, a thrilling edge-of-your-seat trifle that has admirably withstood the test of time, end quote. Ebert, redeeming himself of the outfit, called it, quote, a skillful, efficient film that involves us in the clever and deceptive game being played. Ooh. While Gene Siskel commented on the film's technical achievement and Baldwin's convincing portrayal of the character Jack Ryan. McTiernan directed Medicine Man in 1992 about a medical researcher in a rainforest starring Sean Connery. Medicine Man was poorly received. Man, they're just going...
Again, I think that was a just...
I mean...
a just reception.
I didn't see it. I can't weigh in.
It's Sean Connery and Dr. Malfi. I forget the actor's name.
Lorraine
Bracco. Yeah.
It is Lorraine Bracco. Yeah.
In the jungle trying to find a cure for cancer. That's it. It's
okay.
It is not good. It's not good.
Well, Roger Ebert agreed with you, gave it 1.5 stars, saying that although the film had, quote, some beautiful moments, end quote, it never really came together and had a cornball conclusion. Ooh, that's some good alliteration there.
Yeah.
Entertainment Weekly said the story was built around some very tired devices and especially criticized the performance of the female lead.
I think I don't think she had a lot to work with, but also I think the consensus is miscast a bit.
Sure.
Not totally her fault. I don't think is fair to say.
Now, folks, here's what's going to happen. In 1993, McTiernan directed, as I alluded to at the top of this film, or top of our podcast, rather, he directed and co-produced one of my favorite movies, Last Action Hero, an action comedy vehicle for Arnold Schwarzenegger, which it breaks the wall, it bends reality. Arnold comes out of the movie and he doesn't realize he's Arnold. He thinks he's the character. It's fucking great. Anyway, the film received mixed to negative reviews from critics, and they can all burn in hell. Entertainment Weekly said it was a stupid, generic slab of action bombast that keeps reminding us it's a stupid, generic slab of action bombast, and called it a lead balloon of a movie. Inappropriate. Variety called it a joyless, I had fun, soulless machine of a movie, an $80 million plus mishmash. Vincent Canby likened the film to a 2-hour Saturday Night Live sketch. Well, in the 90s, the sketch was pretty good. And called it something of a mess, but a frequently enjoyable one. There you go. Roger Ebert gave the film 2.5 stars out of 4, writing that despite some entertaining moments, Last Action Hero more often plays more like a bright idea than like a movie that was thought through. Y'all are not being kind. Well, here's what happens though, folks. Is in 1995, McTiernan rebounded with Die Hard with a Vengeance, the third installment of the Die Hard film series. It was highly successful, garnering $336 million in box office receipts and becoming the highest grossing film of the year. Although the film had mixed reviews from critics, as it always does, Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly said that while McTiernan stages individual sequences with great finesse, they don't add up to a taut, tread-ridden whole.
Incorrect. Incorrect.
Yeah.
It's
wrong thought.
Die Hard with a Vengeance rules.
It rips pretty hard.
Yeah, dude. James
Berardinelli said the explosions and fights were filmed with consummate skill and are thrilling in their own right. Desson Howe of the Washington Post said, the best thing about this movie is the relationship between McClane and Zeus, as in Zeus, God, motherfucker, saying that Samuel L. Jackson was almost as good as he was in Pulp Fiction. Ebert gave the film a positive review, praising the action sequences and performance of Willis, Jackson, and Jeremy Irons, concluding Die Hard with a Vengeance is basically a wind-up action toy, cleverly made and delivered with high energy. It delivers just what it advertises, with a vengeance. Empire Magazine's Ian Nathan gave the film 3 out of 5-star review, stating that Die Hard with a Vengeance is better than Die Hard 2, but not as good as the peerless original. Though it's breathless fun, the film runs out of steam in the last act. And Jeremy Irons' villain isn't fit to tie Alan Rickman's shoelaces. Which, again, I feel like being a critic at this time, you're just paid to be mean.
Yeah.
Because Jeremy Irons wouldn't have gotten to where he was if he wasn't a fucking actor.
I think Jeremy Irons at this point had an Oscar for being an actor.
Right.
Newly won. Perhaps a bit over snarky.
Yeah, there's a time and place to snark it, and I feel like this is not it.
Yeah, he had won in 1990 or 1991. So recently won Best Actor.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a couple seats for that
Yeah.
one there. Well, that gives us a good snapshot of 90 to 95. Rob, talk to us a little bit about the Upstate phenom McTiernan's later career.
Sure. All right. So let's look at starting in 1995 to 97. McTiernan was a producer for several smaller projects, including at least 3 films that were not major releases: The Right to Remain Silent, made-for-TV film Amanda, and Quicksilver Highway, a made-for-TV film. Both of those, I guess Amanda is one film, and then Quicksilver Highway is a separate made-for-TV film. During 97, he also directed The 13th Warrior, which was not released until 1999, a loose retelling of the tale of Beowulf, starring Antonio Banderas, Diane Venora, and Omar Sharif, that was adapted from the novel Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton. The film did poorly at the box office, with a total loss estimated at $70 to $130 million. That is a bit of a bomb. It received generally mixed to poor reviews. Roger Ebert gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4, saying that it, quote, lumbers from one expensive set piece to the next without taking the time to tell a story that might make us care. Conversely, James Barandelli gave it 3 stars out of 4, calling it a solid offering that, quote, delivers an exhilarating 100 minutes. The outcome disappointed Sharif so much that he temporarily retired from film acting, saying, quote, after my small role in The 13th Warrior, I said to myself, let us stop this nonsense, these meal tickets that we do because it pays well. Sharif said it was, quote, terrifying to have to do the dialogue from bad scripts, to face a director who does not know what he is doing in a film so bad that it is not even worth exploring. I feel like I think Michael Crichton had a bit more to do with it than the writer might typically. He might have even I think he might have directed some parts of it. I'm trying to remember. It I don't think you can totally blame blame McTiernan. Yeah, but it's a bad movie.
Right.
It's a bad one. I might be mixing it up with a different movie, but at any rate, it's not great. Not great. This, however, leads to another pretty dang good McTiernan flick called The Thomas Crown Affair, which was, of course, directed by McTiernan. It's a heist film, and it's a remake of a Norman Jewison original. This one, of course, starring Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo, taking over from Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway in the original. The latter performing a small part in the remake as Thomas Crown's psychiatrist. Opened to solid reviews and strong box office results, and was released earlier the same month as The 13th Warrior, in August of 1999. Again, it sat on the shelf for 2 years. I think the editing was, perhaps a nightmare on it. Not great. Oh yeah, so I just found it. Crichton took over as director himself because of poor test audience reception, causing the release date to be pushed back over a year. And I think, when Sharif is saying working with a director who doesn't know what they're doing, I think that's more of a dig at Crichton than it is McTiernan.
Right.
At any rate, let's see. Have you ever seen Thomas Crown Affair, Jim?
I have not.
Another pretty good New York film. It's a good watch. It's a good watch. Pierce Brosnan is great. Probably one of the best Rene Russo roles too, I would say. All right, this is bringing us to the 2002 smash hit Rollerball. Have you seen this film?
I haven't, but I feel like by the title, I know where we're going.
It's not great. It's another remake, which I love the original. It's pretty good. Original. Let's see. Oh, this one stars Chris Klein of American Pie fame and not much else. Jean Reno and LL Cool J. The second remake in a row of a Norman Jewison film to be directed by McTiernan. Rollerball was panned by critics. Again, rightfully so. It is crazy bad. Timeouts.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's they were like, "Hey, LL, do you want some money?" He's like, "Yes."
Yeah. I feel like not the best LL performance. Where like his Deep Blue performance, solid. Rollerball,
sure,
not great. Not as great.
No,
not as great. So let's see. Timeouts. Trevor Johnson described it as, quote, a checklist shaped by a 15-year-old mall rat thrashing metal tracks, skateboards, motorbikes, cracked heads, and Rebecca Romaine with her top off. There you go. And Ebert called it an incoherent mess, a jumble of footage in search of plot, meaning, rhythm, and sense. The film was a box office flop, earning a worldwide total of $26 million compared to a production budget of $70 million. In 2014, the LA Times listed the films as one of the most expensive box office flops of all time. As of 2026, his most recent feature film project was the 2003 thriller Basic with John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. This was another box office bomb for McTiernan, and reviews were mostly negative. I feel like this movie played on repeat on TBS, probably around 2004. I saw many 30-minute chunks of this film over a 1 year span, I feel like. Roger Ebert gave it 1 star out of 4, saying it was, quote, not a film that could be understood.
That's funny.
And quote, if I were to see it again and again, I might be able to extract an underlying logic from it. But the problem is, when a movie's not worth seeing twice, it had better get the job done the first time through. I can tell you from seeing it many times, I don't understand it.
Sure. It's perhaps too basic.
Leonard Maltin's movie guide gave it 2 stars out of 4 and said the film keeps adding layers of confusion so that it becomes less interesting as it goes along. The final twist seems to negate the entire story like a bad Shaggy Dog joke. After 3 consecutive critical and box office failures, followed by, we'll get here, the 2006 criminal charges, which saw him spend time in prison in addition to civil lawsuits and bankruptcy. McTiernan was rendered unemployable in the United States because he could not be insured. 2 short films, which he directed, The Red Dot and Ruthless, were released by Ubisoft, the video game company, to advertise the 2017 game Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, and marked his first narrative project in 14 years. In a 2024 interview, he stated that it had been his choice not to get involved with directing again, blaming the failures of his last feature films on scripts he could not fix, and announced that he had since been focusing his time on uncredited script doctoring. The following year, McTiernan confirmed his attempts to direct again. Quote, yes, there are 4 films that I desperately want to do, and one of them may be in the works, but did not reveal exact details out of superstition. However, he added, quote, this particular film, what we're going to do is announce that we're going to make it after we've been shooting for a month. Previously, when pressed about these unrelated projects, he said, one of them is a science fiction film, one is a Western, and one is a love story. So there you go. But let's get back to those legal issues, Jim. Let's talk about the criminal charges, the felony conviction, and the inevitable incarceration.
Yeah, one kind of leads to another. On April 3rd, 2006, McTiernan's life changes. He was charged in federal court with making a false statement to an FBI investigator in February of 2006 about his hiring of a private investigator, Anthony Pellicano, to illegally wiretap Charles Roven, the producer of his film Rollerball, around August of 2000. McTiernan had been in a disagreement with Roven about what type of film Rollerball should be, and hired Pellicano to investigate Roven's intentions and actions. He had asked Pellicano to try and find instances where Roven made negative remarks about the studio executives or said things to others that were inconsistent with what he said to the studio. Huh. What a interesting reason. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think did it mention there's maybe an illegal wiretap in there done by up there.
Yeah. That came up. This is just a very strange thing to like wiretap and like get someone on record for saying shit about a film. Anyway, McTiernan was arraigned and pleaded guilty on April 17th, 2006, as part of an initial plea bargain agreement to cooperate with prosecutors in exchange for lenient treatment. Prosecutors said they became convinced that he was continuing to lie to them and that he had also hired Pellicano to wiretap someone else, prompting them to seek a prison sentence. McTiernan then hired new counsel and tried to withdraw his guilty plea, saying that his prior counsel had not conducted a proper discovery in the case and had not presented him with available defense approach of suppressing as evidence as the conversation with him that Pellicano had recorded on August 17th, 2000. However, this bid was denied by the federal district judge, Dale S. Fisher, who immediately proceeded to sentence him to 4 months in prison and $100,000 in fines. The judge characterized McTiernan as someone who thought he was above the law. That's not surprising. Had shown no remorse and lived a privileged life and simply wants to continue that. He was ordered to surrender for incarceration by January 15th, 2008, but was allowed to remain out of prison on bail pending an appeal to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. In 2008, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals vacated McTiernan's 4-month-long sentence and ruled that Judge Fisher had erred and he was entitled to a hearing as to whether his plea could be withdrawn. The prosecution and the judge then agreed to allow McTiernan to withdraw his plea rather than proceed with such a hearing, and his plea was withdrawn February 24th, 2009. Yeah, this sounds like some real privileged stuff going on here, because he's a old white dude with money. With the case reopened, the prosecution was no longer bound to the prior deal agreement and filed additional charges against McTiernan. He faced another 2 counts of lying to the FBI, one for claiming he had hired Pellicano only in connection with his divorce proceedings, and another for denying that he had ever discussed wiretapping with Pellicano. Oh, you just can't keep his lies straight. Mm-hmm. And 1 count of committing perjury during the previous court proceedings by denying that he had been coached by his attorney on what to say during the previous guilty plea hearing, a denial that he later stated in declaration was false. Yeah, he's just lying a lot. And sorry, I don't have a lot of sympathy for my fellow Upstater, even though I want to root for him because he's from Upstate. But he is doing a lot. He's doing a lot of Upstate things now. He's making
it hard to root for him. And
yeah,
in this
dude.
situation.
I mean, listen, I'm all about some Upstate behavior, but this is just like, bro, I don't have a lot of sympathy for this.
Yeah.
After some adverse rulings on his attempted defense arguments, and facing the possibility of a prison sentence of more than 5 years for the various charges, McTiernan eventually entered another guilty plea on all 3 counts. In the second plea bargain in 2010, conditioned on his plan to appeal the earlier rulings against his defense approach, and Judge Fisher sentenced him to 1 year in prison, 3 years of supervised probation, and a fine of $100,000. The judge stated that the extended duration of the prison sentence was attributed to the additional, more severe charge of perjury before her court. Woo! She emphasized that McTiernan's offenses transcended mere lapses in judgment, and he appeared to still not fully acknowledge responsibility for his actions. Not surprising. Additionally, she remarked that she would have imposed an even longer prison sentence term if the prosecution hadn't suggested otherwise. McTiernan was then released on bail pending an appeal of the adverse rulings. On August 20th, 2012, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the district court judgment, but allowed McTiernan to address the U.S. Supreme Court. This is fucking crazy. Regarding his attempt to suppress the recorded conversation before being required to report to prison. His defense tried to argue that Pelicano had made the recording for an unlawful purpose and that this made it inadmissible, but the district and appeals court disagreed with that interpretation of the rules of evidence. On January 14th, 2013, the Supreme Court declined to hear the case. Good. They shouldn't have. They should not. McTiernan surrendered to federal prison on April 3rd, 2013, to serve a stated 12-month sentence in the federal prison camp in Yankton, South Dakota, a minimum security for former college campus holding about 800 male inmates, most of whom were white-collar criminals.
Can you imagine, your local college closes and someone goes out to the campus and you're like, you know what? This college campus is giving me prison yard. Like, wow. What is that prison or what does that college campus look like?
Prison light. This is club fed, man.
Yeah, but it's
club fed.
South Dakota. I hear you, but I want to look up the federal prison camp in Yankton.
I mean, listen, if you have to go to prison because unless there's some wires that aren't quite fully connected, sure. Prison's not fun.
You know what? It looks positively delightful, Jim. I take it back. This could be, the image I'm looking at could be the front page of a college brochure.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, white collar prison is fucking chill, man. Mm-hmm. It seems pretty fucking chill. I've never been to prison. I don't want to go to prison. But yeah, this seems fine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. His Bureau of Prison registration number was 43029-112. Although the Yankton facility was rated by Forbes magazine as one of the America's top 10 cushiest prisons, McTiernan's wife, Gail... Jeez, what a cornball. McTiernan's wife, Gail, stated that he had found it hard to adapt, having lost 30 pounds. She also claimed that he was suffering from depression and was disintegrating emotionally. Imagine disintegrating emotionally in the cushiest fucking prison. Yo, all right.
That's what, Jim, that's what I call my commute on the hour-long R train.
Right.
Into Manhattan.
There's just a lot of, I have very strong thoughts about this and his disintegration. While in prison, McTiernan managed to write a possible sequel to the Thomas Crown affair. Oh, glad he got it together. While the working title, Thomas Crown and the Missing Lioness, his supporters created a Free John McTiernan campaign page on Facebook, including expressions of support from Samuel L. Jackson, Alec Baldwin, and Brad Bird. He was released from prison on February 25th, 2014, after 328 days, little less than a year, of incarceration, to serve the remainder of his 12-month prison sentence under house arrest at his, wait for it, folks, ranch home in Wyoming until April 3rd, 2014. Rob, he didn't stop there.
Sure.
Right? Tell us a little bit more give us the icing on the cake, if you will.
There was a concurrently running suit for invasion of privacy. This was a civil suit brought against McTiernan by his former wife in 2006. She being film producer Donna Dubrow. She filed the suit against him for invasion of privacy and other claims arising from her belief that he hired Pelicano to wiretap her phone during their divorce negotiations, which was mentioned just a moment before. The lawsuit continued for a decade, ultimately being dismissed in 2016 at Dubrow's request. So that lawsuit continued, the civil suit rather, continued until after McTiernan was out of prison for the other use of Pelicano.
Yo, man, I got minimal sympathy, and you know how hard it is as a upstater to to turn me against my own.
Yeah.
But this is too much.
He
this
fucked up, and then
far.
he dug himself into a prison sentence.
But in the nicest prison he could find, and then was just like, we only get lobster once a week, or whatever the fuck he had to say. Fuck this dude.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It was I didn't want to say it, but
yeah,
here I am.
Yeah. Well, it seems you've John McTurned your take on today's topic.
Yeah. I wanted to root for him. I always root for everybody upstate, but not always.
Sure.
Not always, folks.
Sure. Well, hey, you know what is easy to root for, Jim?
What's
our
that?
Podcasts. You can root for us by subscribing, rating, and reviewing. Throw us 5 stars. And recommend a non-problematic director from upstate New York. If one exists, I don't know. Certainly a complicated legacy for John McTiernan, but maybe there's a director out there who's, didn't go to federal prison.
Right.
We'll find out. So get those reviews in. It helps us out a lot. Again, we got some t-shirts available at understandingupstate.printful.me. Link in the description for those. Go check them out. Speaking about checking out things, Jim, do you have anything to recommend for our listeners?
All right.
To check out?
So check this out, man. You end up in the can, right? You're doing some time. You're doing a stretch. You're not in Elmira. You're not in Clinton. You're not in Coxsackie. You're not, in you're in the myriad of upstate Clinton. You're not in any of those prisons, right? You are doing it. You're in jail at Mount Airy Lodge. Don't ask. You end up in jail there. You're in the lap of luxury, but yet you still can't figure out a way to get through it. You're depressed. You're losing weight. You can't eat. You find time to write a script though. Thank God. You need some break, right? You need some distance from your stretch you're doing. Well, you're in luck because when you go to commissary, you can spend your money. You can pick up a physical copy of Upstate Understandings. You can play it while you walk around the yard. You can laugh. You can enjoy it. Maybe distance yourself from the time. It's a comedy album. It is a very funny one at that. Jimsearch.bandcamp.com is a good place to get it. All the digital streaming platforms. It's on the Pure Comedy channel on the Sirius XMs. A true collaborative endeavor. I brought the jokes. Rob brought the edits. Adam brought the album cover. And Matt brought the filming. So make sure you go run it up. You will be the talk of the prison yard when you play it. Jimsearchcomedy.com is a good place to find all my show dates. I'm going to be upstate. August 30th for Porch Fest. I will be performing at Porch Fest. Looking forward to that. It is not the first time I've done comedy outside, but will be the first time I've done comedy on a porch. It's going to be fun. It's become a Binghamton staple of events and bands and things like that. I feel like I'm the only comic there.
No.
The only person doing stand-up. So this will be pretty fun. I'll have a bunch of merch up there if you are in the area. I'm going to be plugging this mercilessly. So please pull up for that. It's going to be a good time. Rob, that is what I got. But they need more. Tell them more.
Well, let's just say you had a pretty big opportunity and you directed a film, you released it, but, it didn't get the best reviews. Maybe even someone called it 2 hours of action bombast.
Woo!
So what are you going to do? You're going to drown your sorrows in my album, New York Sticky. It's going to help you forget all those bad reviews. In like 20 years, the movie's going to be a classic and you're going to be fine. So go grab that album at brooklynfrequency.bandcamp.com. I got some other music up there as well. Go check it out. Jim, what are we going to be checking out next week? Do we have a hint for our listeners?
Oh, my goodness. Well, listen, folks. Here's what we're going to be doing. We are going to be rolling the dice on something nice. Rolling the dice on something nice, baby.
You love to hear it. And I love to hear myself say an up pun to close out these episodes. Jim, are you ready?
I think so.
Jim, I need to get up to the chopper. Let's get out of here.
Oh, boy. And we're gone. Understanding Upstate is a podcast hosted by Jim Search and Rob Adler, edited by Rob Adler, and music from Regal Monk.